In the Akan world, rivers are not mere currents cutting through soil and stone. They are breath itself, carrying the rhythm of life across the land. Each ripple and wave is seen as memory, a reminder that water has flowed long before kingdoms rose and long after they fell. To the Akan, rivers are living archives, storytellers without words, guardians of secrets carried from the dawn of creation. Among these waters flows one of the most revered, Asuo Yaa. This river is not simply a body of water, but a spiritual presence, a force that ties earth to sky, body to soul, and the present to the eternal. To speak of Asuo Yaa is to speak of a being, a spirit that breathes with humanity, listens to prayers, and watches the balance of the world. The river is not bound only by geography. It is tied to time, to destiny, to the cosmic order itself. Asuo Yaa is born of Thursday, a sacred day in Akan cosmology. Thursday is more than a date on a calendar, it is a threshold moment, a day when the world leans closer to the divine, when the invisible and visible almost touch. To be born on Thursday, to draw breath for the first time on this day, is to share in a deeper bond with the mysteries of the universe. And so, the Akan people do not look upon Asuo Yaa with ordinary eyes. They approach it as they would a shrine, with reverence and humility. The flowing water is seen as spirit in motion, carrying both blessing and warning. To bathe in its current, to drink from its flow, or to whisper a prayer along its banks is to touch something beyond the physical, to stand at the edge of humanity and the eternal. This is not just water. It is not just landscape. It is a living, breathing deity, a divine witness to both the harmony and the failings of humankind. For in the Akan understanding, no river flows by chance, and no sacred current exists without purpose. As the morning mist rises above the forest, and the first light of dawn glimmers upon its waters, Asuo Yaa stirs, a silent reminder that beneath the surface of daily life flows something eternal, the spirit of the river, the eternal breath of water. The whispers of living water. Imagine a river that does more than flow, a river that listens. Its voice is not thunderous like the crashing ocean waves, but gentle, persistent, and timeless, like whispers woven into the very currents of life itself. This is the mystery of Asuo Yaa, the living river of the Akan. For the Akan people, rivers are never silent. They are storytellers, keepers of memory, guardians of truth. And among them, Asuo Yaa holds a unique place. To the children who come to fetch water at its banks, it is a place of laughter, splashes, and games. They see only water that quenches thirst. But to the elders, who sit quietly beneath the trees and watch the currents shift, the river speaks in a different tongue. Every ripple carries a message. Every shimmer of light dancing across its surface is more than sunlight, it is the echo of an event, the reflection of a story passed down. The Akan believe that rivers do not simply move forward, they remember. They hold within their currents the laughter of festivals, the cries of mourning, the words whispered in prayer, and even the silence of those who came only to think. It is said that to sit in stillness by Asuo Yaa is to enter into dialogue with an ancient guardian. Not with words spoken aloud, but with the language of spirit. You may not hear it in your ears, but your heart will know. The river is alive. It listens. It records. It whispers. Generations have leaned on this sacred water for guidance. When a mother prays for her child, she kneels at the riverbank. When a farmer asks for rain, he pours libation by its side. When a young seeker looks for clarity in times of confusion, they sit before Asuo Yaa in silence, waiting for the current to reveal its secrets. And sometimes, the answers do not come immediately. The Akan know that water teaches patience. Its wisdom unfolds like the current itself, slow, steady, but unstoppable. What seems hidden will, in time, be revealed. This is no mere stream. It is not just a body of water moving through land. It is a sentinel of time, a sacred witness to human life, carrying within it both the innocence of childhood and the weight of ancestral memory. Those who walk away from Asuo Yaa do not simply live with water for their homes, they live carrying blessings, cautions, an unseen guidance. The truth is simple yet profound. Asuo Yaa is not simply watched by the people. It watches them in return. It has seen empires rise and crumble. It has seen countless generations live, love, fight, and reconcile. And through it all, it remains, flowing onward, whispering the eternal reminder that water is never just water. It is life. It is memory. It is spirit. And in Asuo Yaa, it is eternal. Land of rivers and spirits. To understand Asuo Yaa, one must first understand the land that cradles her. The Akan world is not only a stretch of soil, it is a living tapestry, woven from forest, stone, and sky. The Akan territory is a land of striking contrast. To the south, lush forests rise like green cathedrals, dense and breathing with life. Towering trees stretch skyward, their roots gripping the soil as if in prayer. Sacred groves lie hidden within, places where no axe dares fall, for the people know they are sanctuaries of spirit. Further north, the trees give way to the rolling embrace of savanna grasslands, vast, golden, and endless, where the horizon is kissed by the sky itself. Here thunderclouds gather, sweeping across the open plains, carrying both blessing and warning. It is within this union of forest and savanna, where two worlds meet, that Asuo Yaa emerges. Geologically, she is born from the seam between these landscapes. Spiritually, she is the living bridge between them. To the Akan, this is no accident. Her course was not carved by chance, but written into the very fabric of creation. Her waters flow like a sacred map. She links villages that might otherwise remain isolated. She wins her way past shrines where priests and priestesses call upon her essence. She passes ancestral resting grounds where libations are poured, carrying prayers from the living to the departed. Every bend in her current marks a connection between the human world and the spiritual one. For the Akan, rivers are more than survival. They are identity. To drink from Asuo Yaa is to drink from the spirit of the land itself. Children who grow by her banks inherit not just water, but belonging. Farmers who depend on her currents see not just irrigation, but partnership with the divine. And elders, when they pour libation into her waters, do not simply give thanks, they renew a covenant, binding people and river together in harmony. The path of Asuo Yaa is revered as purposeful. She does not meander blindly. Every curve carries meaning, every flow carries intention. To walk along her banks is to walk along a story written by creation itself, a reminder that the land and its people are never separate. The Akan say that rivers, unlike humans, cannot lie. They only reveal. And in the winding journey of Asuo Yaa, truth is made visible. This is the land of rivers and spirits, where geography is not just terrain, but theology. Where every mountain, every grove, every stream whispers of a reality deeper than sight. And within this sacred landscape, Asuo Yaa reigns, not as a possession of the people, but as a guardian of their very essence. She is water, yes. But she is also direction. She is memory. She is destiny flowing in liquid form. And to truly know her, one must know the land itself, the land that does not just hold rivers, but gives them soul. Born of myth and memory. The Akan say that rivers are not born merely from rain or from the melting of distant springs. No, rivers are born of spirit. They carry within them the memory of creation itself, an essence older than mountains, older even than the trees that shade their banks. So it is with Asuo Yaa. Elders tell us she did not simply appear as water cutting through the land. She emerged in a moment of cosmic negotiation, when the physical world and the unseen world met to set boundaries. In that sacred moment, rivers were given as lifelines. They were woven into the fabric of existence as eternal passages, channels through which humanity and divinity could forever speak. The river, they say, is both a messenger and a judge. It carries the prayers of the living, whispered through libations poured on its banks. It carries the offerings of gratitude, of apology, of reverence. But it also carries warnings, for when the harmony between humans and the divine is broken, the river becomes restless, flooding, shifting, or even withdrawing. In every sense, Asuo Yaa was created to be a mirror of balance between two realms. Even her name holds power, for in Akan thought, names are never random. Names carry destiny. She is called Asuo, river. But she is also called Yaa, Thursday. And Thursday is not just another day in the Akan calendar. It is sacred, a day imbued with deep spiritual resonance. To be born on a Thursday is to carry a spiritual weight, a destiny tied to energy that flows between worlds. Thus, Asuo Yaa's very name encodes her purpose. She is the river of Thursday, a day when the cosmos bends closer to humanity, when the veil is thin, and communication with spirit becomes possible. To invoke her is to step into that sacred rhythm, to align with a current stronger than the body, deeper than the mind. And so, when children gather by the fireside and elders speak of her, they do not speak only of water. They speak of memory, of a time when the world was still young, when the divine and the human walked closer together. They remind the young that every drop flowing in our stream is a thread of history, a living reminder that the unseen still walks among us. Asuo Yaa is not just a river. She is an agreement made long ago, a pact between the realms. Her name, her flow, her very presence is a living text, an eternal scripture written not in ink, but in water. And for those who truly listen, who sit quietly on her banks as the currents whisper by, she still tells the story of her birth. A story of spirit shaping matter, of destiny written in water, of a river born of both myth and memory. Conscious waters. Under the moonlight, Asuo Yaa does not sleep. Her surface glimmers silver, and sometimes, if you are patient, you will see her ripple against the current, as though something unseen has stirred her from within. For the Akan, this is no illusion. Rivers are alive. They are not mere landscapes. They are beings with awareness, presence, and will. In the Akan world, consciousness is not reserved for humans. The tree that shades the path breathes with spirit. The stone that marks a grave remembers generations long gone. The wind that bends the grass is not random, it carries intention. And rivers do more than flow. They think. They feel. They remember. So it is with Asuo Yaa. She is no passive channel of water slipping through the land. She is a mind. She is a witness. She has moods that shift like the clouds above her. When harmony is kept, her waters flow smooth and clear, reflecting joy and abundance. But when the covenant between people and the unseen is broken, she grows restless. Her currents darken. Her surface churns. She warns with floods, or withdraws into silence, leaving the banks dry. The elders say Asuo Yaa carries both joy and sorrow. She holds the laughter of children splashing at her edge, and the grief of families mourning loved ones lost in her depths. She remembers every libation poured, every prayer whispered, every promise made, and every promise broken. To dismiss her is to ignore a mind older than our own. For those who know how to listen, Asuo Yaa speaks. She does not use words, but her language is clear to those trained in reverence. She communicates through dreams, when her spirit drifts into the minds of the faithful. She speaks in rituals, when offerings stir her waters into subtle signs. And sometimes, she reveals herself in the currents, shifts, patterns, or even a sudden stillness that tells the attentive that she has answered. To stand by Asuo Yaa is to stand before a consciousness vast and ancient. Her waters are not merely for drinking or bathing. They are a dialogue, the living exchange between human hearts and divine will. And so, when the moon shines on her surface and her ripples defy the flow, the Akan do not dismiss it as coincidence. They bow, they listen, they remember, Asuo Yaa is awake. She is aware. She is watching. Roars of the sacred river. Asuo Yaa is not simply a river winding through the Akan land, she is a being of many faces, each one vital to the survival and well-being of her people. To the unknowing eye, her waters may appear ordinary, but to those who approach her with reverence, she reveals herself as healer, purifier, keeper of memory, and oracle of the unseen. When the Akan seek cleansing, they come to her banks. Her waters are gathered into calabashes and poured over the body, washing away not just dirt but spiritual burdens. To be touched by Asuo Yaa is to be unburdened, as if the river herself absorbs the weight of grief, anger, or fear. She restores clarity to the troubled heart, peace to the restless spirit, and renewal to those who feel drained by life's struggles. In times of illness, healers turn to Asuo Yaa. Her waters are mixed with herbs, becoming medicines not only for the body but for the soul. To drink of her in sacred ritual is to accept the blessing of the spirit world. Many speak of cures that could not be explained, of ailments lifted after prayers at her shrine. For in Akan belief, disease is not always physical, it is often imbalance, disconnection, or the lingering shadow of offense.